If you haven't followed the podcast yet and don't know who I am Chris Wright, the head of Pubs Advisory Service here in the UK. I provide insights into the UK pubs trade, speak with other experts, share experiences and stories from publicans across the country. Along the way, exploring different pubs, how they are run, and speaking with the operators. Podcasts are released weekly, and we are always interested in what our audience has to say about pubs as well. Take note, you can take part as well. So how do you contribute to the Our Pubs Speak Out podcast? You can WhatsApp us on 07766 07 3815. Leave your story in the form of a voice message or voice note. 5 mins is approximately the maximum time length. If you're cut off or have a longer story, message back and continue where you left off. Please include as much detail about your experience as possible and avoid recording in noisy places or a moving vehicle. I recommend subscribing to the Pubs Advisory Service. It's the most extensive pub service offering more than just representation. We have online calculators, document banks and other resources for those interested in running a pub business. You can claim all of the costs of subscribing back as a business expense. Some of the WhatsApp content will make it into special episodes of my podcast, exclusive only to subscribers of Pubs Advisory Service. A paid-for subscription gives you early access to episodes, plus online Q&As where I answer listeners' questions about the industry. Hello, this is Chris from the Our Pubs podcast, and today I'm joined by Adam Jenkins. He's the head of TVC Leisure, a gaming company who install all sorts of wonderful products across pubs in England and Wales and further afield. And Adam's reached out to me. We got in touch a couple of years ago over a couple of issues. Machine ties in pubs was the reason we first spoke. But just lately, Adam's been highlighting a threat to pubs, which comes in the form of machine games duty, and that the current government in this autumn budget, which is approaching in about 4 weeks' time, are threatening to increase it. Adam, can you just give me a bit of background about MGD and where we're at today?
Yeah, no worries. So MGD is the gaming tax that we pay on the gross takings of the machines. It's currently set at a rate of 20%. And there has now been rumours within the industry that coming up in the autumn budget, the Chancellor is looking to increase the MGD to 50%.
Wow, 50. So that means that pubs are going to be paying substantially more or losing substantially more of their income if they've got machines. Is this affecting all machines? I mean, quiz machines, fruits, what are you seeing? Is it across the board?
It will be across the board, yeah. It will affect all gaming machines in every sector. So it will affect pubs, it will affect bingo halls, it will affect adult gaming centres, it will affect the seaside amusement arcades, across the board.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty catastrophic. So let's just put this into perspective. How big is the sector? I mean, you've probably got a better handle on this than me. I mean, what sort of money are we talking about here?
So I read a report the other day that said that I think there's 2.4 billion that's raised from gaming taxes at the moment, and with their increases, they're looking to increase that to 5.6 billion.
Wow. So what do you think the government are going to do with this money? What have you heard?
So from what I've heard from the Chancellor and from other publications that I've also read, their justification in increasing the gaming tax is to help pay for the removal of the two-child benefit.
Right. So this is cross subsidy. So the idea is that gaming is bad and that we need to support families, so we're going to take the money out of here. I mean, one of the problems I feel is that a lot of pubs, as you're probably aware, they're rented, they're tenanted, if you like, and their rents are set around them, a share of that income being shared with their landlords. If the tax goes up, then there's less money to share with the landlords, but their rents are based on this. So they're stuck paying a high rent for an income which has decreased. I mean, it strikes me that some businesses in this sector, especially those with, let's say, healthy machine incomes, they're going to be massively disadvantaged. It possibly push them into losing money. I can't see how they can balance the books here. There's no proposal for any sort of taper or credit, is there, that I've seen?
No. No, and I think for gaming machine suppliers, this could potentially this would really affect the revenue that's generated from the machines, and it could make it in certain cases not viable because if the revenue that we're receiving from the machine is not enough to cover the cost of actually buying the machines and the ongoing software fees that we have to pay to operate them, then it just won't be viable for the machine to actually be on site.
Yeah, so your investment in this sector over the years, the machines have got more sophisticated, they cost more money, and all of that you're helping supply, as you say, you need to take some of that from that machine share to cover those bases and cover all those costs. And as you say, this, I mean, have you got any sample figures? Can you give me an example? Have you run any sort of simulation as to a typical machine today with MGD and then with the new MGD? What are we looking at?
I haven't got any examples, but what I could point out is that the most common supply arrangement for a pub, there's two different options that a pub can have with a gaming machine. They can have it either supplied on a revenue share, which means that we as an operator would supply that machine to the site free of charge. We would then visit them on a regular basis, empty the machines. The first thing we obviously have to do is work out what the MGD is, and that is deducted first. And then we split the remaining balance, commonly 50-50. So if there's £100 in a gaming machine, £20 of that is currently MGD, which we would have to give to the government. The remaining balance of £80 is what we would then split with the site, £40 each. Moving forward, if these new rates do come in, if there is £100 in the gaming machine when we come to empty it, the government are going to get half of that. So that means that they get £50. The remaining £50 that's left is what we would then split with the site. So we get £25, they get £25. The government's going to get more money out of the machines than we do.
Mm. So the publican share, your share, falling from £40 to £25, you know, it's a 40% hit, really, isn't it? You know, on the bottom line. So it's like a 40% increase in your costs. Are you a publican navigating the choppy waters in the UK pub industry, or perhaps you're looking to get into the trade for the first time? The Pubs Advisory Service is here to help. We provide essential advice and support, from licensing and legal queries to tenancy agreements and business growth strategies. Want to unlock exclusive insights, in-depth guides and all our past podcast episodes, including hidden extras? Subscribe to Pass today. Membership gives you unparalleled access to expert advice, ensuring your pub thrives. Visit pubs.expert to learn more and subscribe. Don't miss out. Empower your pub business with Pubs Advisory Service. You know, if you take it off your net, which is outrageous. I mean, because there's no way that suddenly people are going to gamble more to make up the difference. You aren't going to get this huge increase in people wanting to go and spend money on machines, and not to that level, not to keep you back where you was. So, I mean, the shortfalls would be extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. And as you say, possibly for people like yourself as suppliers, this calls into question some of the deals that you've been doing, where currently now you've been happy to, let's say, share that machine cost with the operator, but now you're going to have a cost and you're going to have to get it paid for somewhere. I mean, what do you think the industry's responses will be? I mean, apart from outrage at the moment, do you think they're just going to have to start charging people thousands for machines up front?
No, I think it will have a negative effect on investment moving forward. I think that as a machine operator, we won't be able to afford to purchase the higher value machines that go into these sites because the revenue just won't be there. Our returns won't be there. A top end gaming machine can cost between £8,000 and £10,000 now, and then we will also have a £20 a week content fee charge that we have to pay back to the manufacturers. So you know, the newer models of machines are extremely expensive, and if we are not receiving the revenue to actually cover those costs and make the payments to actually purchase the machine, then you just won't be able to supply that quality of machines. You might have to have either something less expensive. Like I said, it could potentially just become completely unviable. You know, the revenue's not there to to cover it.
Yeah. Do you think there's a problem here that government failed to understand the margins that machine companies like you operate versus the online virtual betting companies? Are they looping you together somehow and saying, hey, you're making billions, you're all vastly wealthy people, you can afford it? Is that what you think's happening here?
Yeah, well, I think this government has pretty much approached business like that across the board. They don't seem to understand how it works. Yeah, the whole industry would be affected by it, and I think they just look at the gaming industry as one big cash cow that they can increase their taxes and have this windfall revenue come in, which is going to help them pay for other things. But yeah, the majority of businesses that operate machines, they're already businesses that are paying tax. So if you look at bookmakers or if you look at arcades, they already have to pay business rates in the premises that they're in. They pay rent. They have lots of staff. They pay their national insurance contributions. They have energy bills. They're already paying a substantial amount of tax to operate their business. So an increase in the gaming tax just means that they have less revenue and profit to then run the business and pay all of their other costs that they have. So yeah, I don't think they understand what the negative effect is going to be.
Okay, well, let's. We're obviously putting this podcast out there. It's mainly going to small operators, individuals, got pubs who may be worried about this. What can they do about it? I mean, you obviously, I think you have a trade body. What are they called? Who do you subscribe to? Sorry,
BACTA.
BACTA, yeah. So BACTA have made submissions, I understand, from doing some research prior to the show and from what you've told me. So they're obviously quite heavily lobbying this side of the budget. There's 4 weeks to go. I think publicans should write to government. I think they should make submissions to their MPs. Do you think it would also help if perhaps some publicans send information to BACTA, case studies, things like that? Do you think that would help?
Yeah, or the BII.
Or the BII even, yeah. If
we work with the BII. We're a trusted partner in that organisation, and I have also contacted them recently and provided them with some information about this potential tax increase. And they were also going to be looking into it and providing some information. And
I think it's crucial. I mean, especially from, as I say, from the leased and tenanted side of the pubs trade, whereby people's rents have been set in stone, sometimes for 5 years at a time. If this comes in the middle of, midterm, they're not negotiating a new rent, you're stuck with your old rent, which was based on a machine income you're not going to have. So, that's disastrous. You're out of kilter now. So there's a knock-on effect. So I think tenanted pubs with machines really need to take a very, very hard look at this and lobby. So I see sort of 3 ports of call. One is, yeah, why not, write to the minister, write to your MP, BII, yes, why not, if you're a member, of course. And maybe even send some stuff to BACTA as well. Just add some more fuel to their fire, because obviously these trade bodies are already speaking, with government about this issue. And I suspect they'll be ramping it up in the weeks to come. But there's quite a strong lobby against or in favour of the increase. I mean, I saw a story the other day that said that over 100 MPs had signed up to this, which is, not an insignificant number of MPs. It's getting on for, over 20% of the House, really. Have you seen any further stories about that, about the amount of support that MPs are throwing behind the increase?
Yeah, I also saw that it had been given the thumbs up by Gordon Brown as well.
Okay, so former Prime Minister, yeah. So he was weighing in on this as well. Fair enough. So yeah, so it's definitely a hot issue. There's a few weeks out. I think this is one of the purposes of this sort of podcast is really quick heads up and to get people to do something. So what I'm going to do in the wake of this, you and me speaking, is I'm going to make a templated letter available for people to download from the PASS website. I'll share it with you as well. And you can distribute it to any publicans and then people can fill in their details and they can make a personal representation. But I think sitting back and doing nothing at this stage is a bad idea. This is quite the threat. And if you derive a significant income from these machines, this could be absolutely catastrophic, to be losing basically 40% of your net coming straight in, that's not good, not good at all. And is there any positives you've heard from this, Adam, at all yet? Have you seen an upswell in people, saying, hey, hang on a minute, apart from myself and the Pubs Advisory Service, has anyone else approached you and said this is wrong?
No, in the gaming industry, there's obviously people that are now putting forward arguments and are going to be campaigning around this. So yeah, BACTA are going to be putting forward some information about it. There was a trade show this week within the gaming industry, and I think a lot of people come together and discussing about how we can put forward our argument about how this is going to have a negative impact on businesses. So within the gaming industry, yes, there are organisations that are now going to be campaigning.
Has anyone been bold enough in Parliament to be a champion for the gaming industry? I mean, have you identified any MPs or ministers?
No.
Not that you've seen. Well, do let us know, because obviously, if somebody is kind of speaking on behalf of this industry, pubs and gaming machines, we would love to obviously put some of this to them. But for now, I'd like to thank you for coming on, Adam, and hopefully we can speak again on a happier moment, maybe post-budget, and this has been put to bed, and we can talk about some of the other things. But I wanted to sign off by saying, if you are a pub, you need gaming or leisure machines, Adam at TVC Leisure is your man. I'm going to give some contact details at the end of the podcast so people know how to get in touch with you, Adam. I just want to thank you for coming on today and giving us some of the information there in the background and highlighting this very serious problem. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Hello once again. This is Chris from Pubs Advisory Service. Thanks ever so much for listening to the podcast, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to get in touch with the show, please use WhatsApp. You can contact us on 077 66 07 3815. That is 077 66 07 3815. You'll also find this number in the links and on our webpage, pubs.expert/podcast. Thanks again.